Final Fantasy XIV is one of the most beloved MMORPGs out there, and for good reason. It's got an amazing story, flashy combat, and a world that's packed with things to do. But if you're just starting out, it can feel like a lot. There are systems on top of systems, dozens of classes, and people throwing around words like MSQ, glam, and DPS check like you already know what they mean. So let's break it all down. Whether you're trying out the free trial or thinking about jumping in full time, here's everything you need to know before you really get started. Alright, let's talk about what you actually get when you start Final Fantasy. By now, you've probably heard the meme about the critically acclaimed free trial. And yeah, it's real. The free trial lets you play A Realm Reborn, Heaven's Sword, and Stormblood all the way up to level 70, which is Final Fantasy's first 3 expansions. And there is 0 time limit and no subscription required. That's hundreds of hours of story, dungeons, raids, and jobs, all for free. What makes this trial so generous is that you're not locked out of core gameplay. You can do the main story quests, run dungeons, unlock mounts, level up multiple jobs, and even glam your character. Sure, there are restrictions. You can't use the market board, shout in cities, or join free companies, the game's guilds. But nothing that stopped you from enjoying the game or progressing. If anything, it's a perfect way to see if Final Fantasy is your thing without spending a cent. Once you finish Stormblood and hit level 70, you'll need to subscribe if you want to continue. The full game includes the next 3 expansions, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, and Dawntrail. Subscribing unlocks everything the free trial doesn't. Features like the market board, the ability to trade, use retainers, and access to all the new zones, dungeons, and jobs. The sub-model is standard. You pay monthly and buy expansions separately when they come out if you're really into the game at that time. And then the latest expansion goes back. It's a bit old school compared to buy-to-play MMOs like Guild Wars 2, but Square Enix keeps the content rolling with consistent updates and massive expansions. Each expansion is packed with story, music, and new features that often redefine the game's meta and world structure. If you end up loving the trial, the full version is worth it. But here's the thing. You don't need to rush. The free trial gives you so much content that it can last you months, even years, depending on how fast you play. So take your time. Soak in the story, try out different jobs, and when you're ready to take the next step, the rest of the game is waiting for you. Let's talk about combat. Final Fantasy's combat might seem really slow at first, but give it time and you'll see just how deep it really is. Unlike some MMOs where you're constantly mashing buttons, Final Fantasy is all about rhythm. Every job has its own flow, with rotations that build over time, and once you start unlocking more abilities, fights start to feel like a perfectly timed dance. It's less about spamming and more about precision, timing, and execution. The game fully embraces the Holy Trinity, tank, healer, and DPS. Each role plays a crucial part in every encounter, and every job is designed to bring something unique to the table. Whether you're soaking up hits as a paladin, tossing heals as a white mage, or throwing out massive crits as a samurai, each role feels important and impactful. If you're used to Guild Wars 2's more flexible role system, this might feel more structured, but it also means encounters are built with super tight mechanics that really test your abilities. Final Fantasy has a ton of jobs, and they're all playable on a single character. No need to create a new tune to try something else, just switch weapons and you're off. You'll start with a basic class like Gladiator or Lancer, which then evolves into a job like Paladin or Dragoon. Later expansions add even more options like Reaper, Sage, and Viper and Pictomancer with Dawntrail. It takes time to unlock everything, but that slow drip of progression makes each new job feel like its own journey. Each job has a unique rotation and identity. Black Mage is all about big numbers and mobility, while Ninja rewards fast fingers and constant movement. Some jobs are beginner-friendly, and others are straight-up high-skill stealing challenges. But the nice part is, if you ever feel bored or burnt out, you can just switch to something else. You're not locked in, and leveling a new job is its own fun side adventure. Once you get into the higher-end content, especially raids and trials, Final Fantasy's combat really shines. Boss fights are choreographed like a stage performance, with telegraphed attacks, dance-like mechanics, and white mechanics that require everyone to play their part. You can't just wing it. At least not for long. But when it all clicks, few MMOs feel this satisfying. Leveling in Final Fantasy is all about the main scenario questline, or MSQ for short. If there's one thing you need to focus on, it's this. The MSQ is the game's backbone, guiding you through the story from A Realm Reborn all the way to the latest expansion. It's how you unlock dungeons, trials, zones, mounts, and major features. You could technically level up doing other things, but the MSQ is required if you actually want to progress through the game. That said, there's a lot more to leveling than just the main story. Every job has its own set of class and job quests, which unlock key abilities and give you extra lore. Once you get into the expansions, you'll also find role quests, which are great for diving deeper into the world while earning some nice XP. There are also a ton of side quests, fates, which are more like open world events, hunting logs, and challenge logs, all of which give XP and help break up the routine if you ever need a breather from the MSQ grind. If you're someone who enjoys group content, leveling through dungeons is a great option. Duty Roulette gives you bonus XP each day, and queue times are usually quick, especially if you're playing a tank healer. PvP also gives a surprising amount of XP, and if you're looking for something different, zones like Baja and Eureka offer their own leveling systems and mechanics. You've got options, whether you want to play solo or with others. One of the best things about Final Fantasy is how alt-friendly it is. You can level every job on a single character, and the game encourages you to switch things up. You don't need to create a new character just to try a different class. Just pick up the weapon for that job and start leveling it. There's even an XP bonus for lower level jobs, so you're not stuck grinding endlessly from scratch. And once you hit level cap, you'll notice the game isn't about chasing endless gear upgrades. There's gear progression, sure, but it's more manageable than most MMOs. You can take breaks and come back without feeling like you're hopelessly behind. And the game is built with catch-up systems in mind, so even if you're not rushing to endgame, you'll always have a smooth path forward. Final Fantasy doesn't give you a mount right away, but once you get one, the game opens up in a big way. Around level 20, you'll unlock your first mount, a classic Chocobo, by progressing through the MSQ and joining one of the Grand Companies. From there, mounts become your primary way of getting around, and trust me, you'll collect a lot of them. Mounts in Final Fantasy aren't just about going faster, they're also a big part of the game's personality. Some are epic, like glowing dragons and raid bosses you can ride. Others are total meme fuel, like giant frogs, flying beds, or even a literal chair. Most mounts come from dungeons, trials, PvP, crafting, or even seasonal events, so there's always something new to chase. And yes, you can absolutely flex your mount collection if that's your thing. Flying becomes a big part of travel too, but it's tied to progression. You won't be flying right away. Instead, you unlock flying zone by zone by collecting ether currents and completing story quests. It's a bit of work, but it makes finally taking off and soaring through the sky feel super rewarding. Once you unlock flying in a zone, it stays unlocked forever on that character. Outside of mounts, Final Fantasy has some of the best fast travel in any MMO. Aetheryte crystals let you teleport instantly between cities and zones, and you can set favorites to reduce costs. The Duty Finder lets you queue for content from anywhere, and once you've unlocked a zone, getting back to it is never a hassle. The game respects your time when it comes to getting around. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for. Endgame. What do you do at level cap? What the hell is there to do? Well, once you hit the level cap in Final Fantasy, the game doesn't stop. It actually opens up. Way more. Whether you're into challenging content, storytelling, PvP, or just looking good in glam, Final Fantasy has something for every type of player, and unlike a lot of MMOs, you're not pressured into a single type of endgame. You can pick and choose what you enjoy most. Let's start with PvE. Dungeons are the bread and butter of endgame content, with each expansion adding a handful of visually stunning and mechanically fun ones. You also get trials, 8-player boss fights that range from chill story counters to wild high-intensity battles. These are a huge part of the MSQ and continue to get more difficult in their extreme versions, which drop mounts, loot, and serious bragging rights. Then there are raids, and they come in two main types. First, you've got 8-player raids like Eden or Pandemonium. These tells full stories over multiple patches with beautiful cutscenes and unique bosses. Then there's Savage difficulty, where the same fights get cranked up to 11 with tight mechanics and strict coordination. These are the real deal, some of the hardest content in the game. If you want something on a bigger scale, Alliance raids are 24-player battles with their own dedicated storylines. You'll fight massive bosses across equally massive stages, and they're great for players who want epic encounters without the pressure of savage difficulty. Collabs like the Nier and Evilus raids bring in music and characters from other Square Enix games, and they're some of the most stylish content in the game. For PvP fans, Final Fantasy has really stepped up its game. Crystalline Conflict is a fast-paced, objective-based mode that feels almost like an Overwatch-style brawler, with quick matches, clean UI, and flashy abilities. Then there's Frontlines, a massive 72-player warzone where 3 teams battle over objectives. PvP comes with its own leveling system, cosmetics, and exclusive mounts, so if you want a break from PvE, this is a great alternative. Outside of combat, you've got 2 massive rabbit holes, glamour and housing. Glamour is the true endgame. Viable outfits, fashion contests, and entire communities dedicated to looking stylish. With transmog systems and literal fashion challenges like the Gold Seltzer's Fashion Report, there's always a reason to mess with your look. Housing is equally deep with entire decorating communities, contests, and neighborhoods. Owning a house is competitive and tricky, but apartments and shared spaces offer other ways to express yourself. And the best part is you don't need to do all. You can focus on raiding, fashion, PvP, crafting, or just running old content for fun. Final Fantasy's endgame is built around the idea of options, not obligations. No matter your playstyle, you'll always have something to do, and you can take it at your own pace. Crafting in Final Fantasy isn't just a side activity, it's honestly practically its own game. Every crafting class, from blacksmith to culinarian, has its own set of gear, abilities, and rotations. You're not just clicking a button and getting an item, you're actually playing a mini turn-based game where you balance quality, durability, and progress to make high-quality gear. It's surprisingly deep, and if you're the kind of player who likes optimization, it can be super satisfying. Gathering works in a similar way. Botanist, Miner, and Fisher all have their own gear and abilities, and high-level gathering can feel like treasure hunting, especially when you start chasing rare nodes or collective materials. And yes, fishing is a whole lifestyle in Final Fantasy XIV. There are timed windows, big fish that take serious setup to catch, and even group fishing voyages. It's chill, relaxing, and kind of addicting once you get into it. What makes crafting and gathering worth diving into is that it's not just busy work. You can make serious gills selling high-end crafted gear, raid consumables, and even glam items. There are rich, exclusive tools, mounts, achievements, and glamours locked behind these systems, which means dedicated crafters and gatherers get plenty of love. And with the Ishgard restoration, crafting even gets its own massive community events and ranking systems. You don't need to touch these systems if you don't want to, but if you ever get bored of combat or just want a more laid-back progression path, crafting and gathering are a great way to stay engaged with the game. So, it's the time in all of my videos where we do the quickfire round. So here's a lot of cool things about Final Fantasy that I personally love. One of the best things, in my opinion, about Final Fantasy XIV is just how friendly the game feels. I've met some of my best friends in this game. The community has a reputation for being one of the most welcoming in the MMO space, and it's honestly well earned. Whether you're running your first dungeon or wiping in a raid, people are usually patient and willing to help out. The game itself even encourages good behavior with things like commendations and mentor systems. Final Fantasy also does a great job making group content feel stress-free. You don't need to know anyone to play. Duty Finder lets you queue for basically everything, and content is designed to be bug-friendly. Most fights use telegraphed mechanics, so with a bit of pattern recognition and some practice, you'll pick things up fast. And since gear is standardized in a lot of content, there's no pressure to have the best build just to participate. On top of that, the game is packed with side activities that add flavor to your experience. There's the Gold Saucer, a giant casino full of minigames, weekly challenges, and seasonal events. There's deep lore hidden in side quests and secret areas. There's roleplay, music performances, player-run nightclubs, and everything in between. No matter what you're into, there's probably a niche for it in Eorzea. So whether you're here for the story, the fashion, the raids, or just to vibe with some chill music and cool people, Final Fantasy gives you the freedom to play your way. And the best part is there's always something new on the horizon. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. If you found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more MMO content. I've got plenty more coming your way, and your support really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to go the extra mile, We now have channel memberships live. They start as low as $1 a month, and it's a great way to support me uploading multiple times a week. Final Fantasy XIV is one of those games that sticks with you. Whether you're a hardcore raider, a glam addict, you're just here for the story. So wherever your adventure takes you, enjoy the ride. Thanks again, and I'll see you Wednesday.